What's up, guys? Laid Back Gaming here, bringing you some new news on Destiny. This is a trailer analyst for the Bungie vidoc that was uploaded. So basically, I'm going to be going through some stills and then talking about these photos. If you want to read this for yourself, there's going to be a link to this site in the description. You can go check it out yourself, or you can just watch the video. This first image, if you look carefully, you can see a planet near the bottom of the image, which is only visible for a split second in the video. But based on the size of these planets and their orbits, it seems like we're seeing Venus, Mars, and it seems like we see Earth in the top half of the picture. It looks like Earth, and it looks actually like Earth's moon. And then on the far right, it seems to be possibly Mars. And then this next picture is another picture of our solar system that seems to be a little bit different. But if you look, you can see, again, Mercury, Venus, and you see Earth. And the little spot right there, if you look on Earth, seems to be the Traveler, which is the spherical thing that is above Earth, above the last city on Earth. So I think that's really cool. And then, obviously, just assumptions to be the other planets to be Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. It doesn't seem like Mars is actually present in this solar system picture, which is really odd. But if you look to the far left, there also is a really small planet. We don't really know what that is. I mean, obviously that could be Pluto or something like that. But it could be, another type of planet as well. We don't really know. But again, these pictures, it didn't seem like the planet in the first picture was actually in this solar system picture, which was a little bit odd. This next picture, you see this ship, and in the vidoc, you actually see the ship jolt into, I guess, faster than light speed type speed, which is kind of cool. And obviously, throughout this game, you're going to be able to travel from planet to planet. So this is probably a representation of you traveling from planet to planet. Now, again, I talked about this in an earlier video. We don't know too much about the actual flying. We don't know if you're going to be piloting the ships or if it's just going to be a fast travel type feature to where you click the planet you want to go to and it fast travels you there. We don't know too much about that yet. We don't have too much information about that yet. When we find out more, obviously, we'll let you know. In these two new pictures right here, we see ruins of like a human civilization. The first is, looks like obviously Earth. You see some cars, you see some lights in the background. Since landscape and atmosphere in the second doesn't look too alien, we'll also suppose it's probably Earth as well. But if you look from the structures in the first picture, obviously you see the car and the lights in the background. It seems more modern day and not really futuristic. And so I guess that raises the question, do we expand into space? Was it in our near future? And, obviously at what point did human develop the advanced technology? Because it seems like they were obviously torn down. A lot of this seems to be modern. So it seems like it wasn't, in too far in our future that humanity was just completely started to get destroyed by this mysterious enemy. Moving on to the next picture, you see kind of like an aircraft carrier right here, and then in the background it seems to be like a ship that's cut in half. And then obviously right here on the land, you see some tracks of some sort. We don't really know what this is or where this is at. Obviously, it does seem like it's a possibility this could be Mars. We don't really know for sure. Obviously, it still could be some part of Earth, but it really does not seem like it doesn't seem too much like it's from the Earth, so it's very possible that this is on another planet such as Mars. In this next picture, it seems to be like a launch pad, and you look to the far right, it almost seems to be like an actual U.S. spaceship that might be torn off a little bit. But this kind of just shows you that the items you see in this picture do not seem too futuristic. So you have some tanks here, you have that launch pad that seems like maybe possible parts of a ship also. But yeah, technology does not seem too futuristic, so that leads you to the assumption that, hey, maybe it wasn't too far into the future to where they finally got the technology to go out into space and other places like that, because it doesn't seem too far into our future of when this mysterious enemy actually came to Earth and just destroyed a lot of the things. This next picture shows a clear picture of the last city on Earth underneath the Traveler, and obviously you can tell the land is just too covered by the clouds to really pinpoint where on Earth this is, but you can tell there's an ocean right there, so we do know it's near the ocean. But other than that, we don't have too much information about where this last city is located. This next picture is obviously a picture of the mobile app that there will be along with the Destiny game, and on the mobile app, players will be able to view news stories and everything. And I'm just imagining that Bungie they were talking about how they didn't want to bore the players. They wanted to continue to expand and do new stuff. So we're just gonna assume that they're gonna constantly try to bring us new stories and everything like that. And if you see here, notice that it does say from Venus, Shores of Time. So we do know that this story that he is active is on Venus. And I just think it's really cool thinking about this this game going to be taking place in our solar system and just being able to travel from planet to planet. And I think that's really cool. Obviously, you see the 18 right there. We're not really too sure what that is. It could be a number of things that you have completed, like you've completed 18 stories. It could be a reward for completing that certain story. And obviously there's a lot of icons on the bottom. We're not really sure what that means. There's trophies, and it looks like almost like shield type things for the other 4. Again, there's just a lot of speculation. We don't really know too much about the mobile app yet or what all these icons mean. This next picture is a continuation of the mobile app, and here we can see somebody kind of programming something for the mobile app. And if you look to the left on this thing, it says Halcyon. I honestly don't know what that's supposed to mean. That might be the name of the character. We're not really sure. And then obviously you have the 1790 right there. It could be XP points, anything like that. We're not really sure too much about it is, but if you look on the left side, you see what seems to be 3 weapon spots, and then on the right side seems to be slots for armor, such as like hands, helmet, chest, legs, boots, stuff like that. And we're not really sure what the green backgrounds are. That could mean multiple different things. It could be like, oh, you can add a special something to your weapon, or you can upgrade your weapon. We're not really too much about what that is. And then on the very bottom of this app, you can see multiple different things. We're not really sure what they say. It seems to be saying like energy shields, agility, and something else that it's a little bit hard to make out. But I think this is really cool what they're doing with the mobile app, and I think it's going to be very interactive and very fun. The following screen is another follow-up. It's another picture of a mobile app, and throughout this, throughout the vidoc, at this point in the vidoc, it does say, how do you keep a player going for 50 or 100 hours over some number of months? And the answer is reminding them to play. Obviously, it says Destiny update. It says, new mission. It says new mission and stuff, and it says be brave. And this is just another thing. Your app's going to try to remind you to play while you're not playing the game, to just keep the player involved in the game, even if they're out of the house. And it just makes them excited to get home and play the latest new story with their friends. This next picture shows you, 4 different character slots, and it seems like you're going to be able to have multiple characters. As you see there, it says add character, and there's actually 2 more slots below that. So we'll see. I guess you're going to be able to have multiple characters, which I think is really cool. And then again, this next picture shows 3 players to the side. It shows my squad, and it shows 3 different players. You can have up to 6 in your party. You might be able to eventually have more. We don't know too much detail about it, although it does say up to 6 cooperative play. And then underneath the names, you'll see you'll see their guilds they're in, and obviously we don't know too much about the guilds, but I think it is cool that you're going to have your distinct guild that you are in. And then on the side it says 6, 12, and 16. We're not sure what those numbers mean. It could mean, leveling up like you are, in Halo you have certain numbers and stuff. We're not too sure about what exactly that does mean. But you can join, you and your party can join multiple different things, such as faction wars, raid, strike, bounty, all that stuff, which I think is really cool to be able to bring your party into those different types of games, which we will hopefully be learning more about those different types of games in the near future. As you see from this next picture, you see a ship flying towards the Traveler, and if you look closely, you can see a squiggly type line that does appear to be a river, which kind of helps us narrow down a little bit further of where the city might possibly be. Obviously, it's so hard to still tell, and I'm sure we'll be continuing to get more information as the game continues to get closer and closer. This next picture is a picture of the Traveler, and at this point in the vidoc, it does talk about how the Traveler sacrificed itself for us and now hangs where it made its last stand. Now, we do have to realize that these enemies obviously are pretty strong, as you can see from the damage that has been taken on the Traveler. And another thing I wanted to point out, that the Traveler seems to possibly have some type of gravitational pull or something. As you see the clouds around it, some of them that are close up seem to be either being pushed away from the Traveler or actually pulled up a little bit to the Traveler. As you can see some strips of the clouds that look like they might be coming towards the Traveler. It's obviously just a speculation, and it's really hard to be able to tell what all that actually is. The next picture we see kind of a broken down city, and we're not really sure if this is on Earth. As you can tell, there's a ton of like orange sand type material that is just filling up this city. And if you look on the building in the very front, it says something station. We're not really sure what that says. I would say train station, but there's an S that it ends with. So I mean, it could be train station, but that wouldn't make too much sense. But again, we're not sure if this is on Earth or another planet. It doesn't seem too futuristic. It seems fairly modern, but again, humanity, they did say during the vidoc that humanity did expand over the galaxy, over the solar system or whatever, and so this might be on another planet that somebody built, but again, we're not really sure. We don't know too much information again. And then this next picture, you can see a spaceship right here, and just kind of everything around it just seems to be worn down, and as you can see, the trees are dead. It seems like there's not like any grass growing around here, but you do see what looks to be like a modern-day space shuttle, which I think is really cool. And then also, the moon out here does look like Earth's moon. It's still, we're not too sure what it is. That does seem fairly large for Earth's moon, but it is like just a concept art. It's not an actual picture from the game, so we still don't really know if we're going to see this while we're playing. This could just be an actual picture just showing some of the landscape of the actual game itself. I would also like to point out these two ships right here that you see. I'll zoom into both of them. They're flying fairly low, so I'm just assuming that they either have recently taken off from some type of city or are actually heading to a city, possibly the last city. We just really don't know yet. There's just a lot of speculation that people have to make right now, but hopefully, we'll continue to get more and more information about all of these concept art pictures. The next picture is actually a ground view of the walls of the city. At the very top, you can see part of the Traveler, and then this is a huge wall right here around the city. It seems like there's a red emblem right there. We're not really sure what that is, if that's just like a stop sign or something. Do not enter. We don't really know, but I thought it was interesting looking at the walls so we can get a bigger perspective of what this city and how big this city might actually be. The next picture, you can see some enemies in the background with a vehicle behind them, and we believe that these enemies are the Cabal, which I mentioned in an earlier video. These enemies are obviously just huge in weapons, big weapons, big size, and obviously a lot of armor. In this next picture, it seems to be the same enemy, although it has a different helmet as well as a huge shield. We believe this is the same enemy, at least that's what it looks like. And then you can see a warrior right there, which is one of the characters from the game. And comparing the second image with the first one, it seems like these enemies are really massive. So you have to think that the vehicle in the background is absolutely huge. And it almost reminds me, if you're a Halo fan, it almost reminds me of a bigger version of an elephant, which they actually brought back in Halo 4, which I was really excited about. But yeah, so we're not too sure about the vehicle in the background, but this does seem like the Cabal. If that's how you pronounce that, I'm not sure. Yeah, and I think it's really cool. Obviously, for the warrior characters, we're seeing a recurring theme of capes and cloaks, and I'm sure that's going to be something throughout. It seems like it's going to be a theme throughout all the characters in Destiny. The next 5 images are some 3D images of characters holding some weapons. The first one seems to be kind of an assault rifle type weapon. The second, a sniper rifle. Obviously, it's really similar to that of Halo sniper rifle. But again, this is Bungie, so they created Halo. So you can just imagine that a few of the weapons might be similar to that of Halo's. The third image is obviously of a shotgun, a pistol. The fourth image seems to possibly be a shotgun. He seems to be holding like a pump action thing. But if you look on the side, it says FOTC. We're not too sure if that's actually the manufacturer of the weapons or if that means something else. And then again, in between his two hands, you see something in white that says assault something. So, this could be an assault rifle. We're not too sure, but it does seem to say assault. And then the final picture is another picture with him. This seems to be another assault rifle type weapon. In this following picture, this is actually a picture on the vidoc of them, them working. There's 2 posters set up. The first one says Vex, which is the name of the time-traveling robot enemies that are in the game. And the next one says Mars, although we can't really tell. It seems to be maybe possibly a city on the poster, but we're not really sure. But it seems to say Mars on that poster. In this next picture, you're actually looking off a balcony into the last city, and you can see a lot of lights in the streets. I'm not too sure what that is supposed to be. And then on here to the right, you see some type of building which seems to possibly be like a shop for players to buy items or just an information desk or something of that sort. These next 2 images are actually pictures of some first-person gameplay. The first bit of first-person gameplay that we do see. In both of these pictures, it seems like the players are running to some sort of portal, almost like a Stargate type portal. We're not too sure about what that is, but you can see the different types of armor that people have. For example, in this image right here, this guy seems to just be wearing kind of cloaks. We're not too sure about that. And if you look on the first image, in the far left, it seems like somebody's sprinting, so we do know that sprinting should be an available feature in Destiny's game. This next picture seems to be taken inside a ship. Obviously, we're not too sure if it's a human ship or an enemy ship, but it does look like, obviously, it's taken inside of a ship. And then on the outside, there seems to be a lot of debris that just seems to be floating around. That's all that we can really look at and tell from this picture. There does, however, seem to be some type of some type of character in the very bottom left corner walking around on that deck right there, although it's kind of hard to tell if that actually is a character or if it's something else. This next picture, if you look on the right, there's some tire tracks from where vehicles have been, so we do know that you will be able to drive on this part of the map. We obviously are not too sure where this is at, but if you look towards the middle and the left side, it seems like to be some building structures. So we're not too sure where this actually could be. It could be on a moon, it could be on another planet, but there's obviously a lot of speculation that you could make about this picture and many of the other pictures in this video. These next few pictures show off a little bit of the atmosphere and the land that Bungie's been working with. This first picture shows an assault rifle, at least that's what it appears to be, and you see on the thing right there it says 43, so you can imagine that it at least obviously has at least 43 bullets, but we don't know if it's any more than that or any less. And obviously, it's so early in development right now. They could be changing these weapons. They could be changing, bullet amounts, anything like that. And then this next picture, I think it's really cool to see this atmosphere right here. And then in the far distance, you see just some more land that you can hopefully travel to. Obviously, we don't know too much about how open this world is going to be, but I do think it is really cool about how open Bungie is being, coming from Halo where you're just boxed in with cliffs all the time. But I think it's really cool to be able to see a game from Bungie that hopefully is going to be just a really open world. You can travel around, and I'm really excited to see, what they're going to do for the atmosphere and what they're going to do since they're calling it, I guess they're referring to it as being an open world game. The following picture actually shows a robot with a sniper rifle that obviously, I guess, is going to be used as a security guard or for protection. We're not too sure about if there's a certain part of the city that's just dangerous, or if there's a certain part of the city that's, that's vulnerable to attacks from aliens or anything like that. But we do know during the vidoc, this is actually where they show some of their features that they're adding. They're going to be adding the features of it going from day to night, which I think is a really cool feature to be adding to this game. And just having the feature of it changing from day to night during the game is going to be really cool to see. This image I find fairly interesting. If you look on the right side, you see that ring light thing that's kind of, I guess, broken off, and it actually kind of, I don't know, when I saw it, it kind of reminded me of Halo, the Halo ring things and some of the levels that you saw, so that, I don't know, I just found that really interesting. And then to the left, you see this blue light, I don't know if it's a light or actually like a fire type thing happening on over there, and we're not sure what that is. That's obviously going to cause a lot of speculation, as if there's a city in there or something, enemies or anything like that. There's many things that you could obviously speculate for that blue light to be. That was a lot to cover in that video, guys. Obviously, there's a lot of other images and stuff from the vidoc that I didn't really go over, but if you have anything you want to add in the comments, please be sure to add it in the comments. If you liked the video, please be sure to let me know in the comments if there's anything that I need to work on or anything that I missed. Send it in a message to Destiny Vault, and we'll be sure to try to make a video for it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It's obviously a long video, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch all this video. And if you like this video, please be sure to like and favorite it. It really does help a lot. Also, go ahead and subscribe just to stay up to date for news and information and everything like that about Destiny. And if you have any news or information that you find out about Destiny that we have not already made a video for, please be sure to send it in to our channel, and we'll be sure to try to get a video out for it. Again, thanks so much for watching, guys, and be sure to subscribe.